Good morning. Here is your global news report for April 13, 2026. The United States and Iran are engaged in ongoing conflict, with peace negotiations in Pakistan having collapsed. Tensions surrounding the Strait of Hormuz have become a primary international concern. President Donald Trump's political influence remains substantial, with his actions consistently sparking global debate. Pope Leo XIV has issued ethical criticisms regarding the Middle East conflict, highlighting regional differences in media focus. The US-Iran war continues, and peace talks in Pakistan, which lasted over 21 hours, broke down over issues concerning nuclear development and passage through the Strait of Hormuz. The US presented a red line demanding Iran abandon nuclear weapons development, but Iran rejected this as an unreasonable demand, citing a lack of US trust. President Trump ordered a maritime blockade, to which Iran warned of a deadly vortex. Russia has expressed its support for a diplomatic resolution. President Donald Trump's political activities are widely reported both domestically and internationally. Domestically, events related to the White House, such as a federal building painting plan and immigration policies, including deportations, are drawing attention. Internationally, his exaggerated claims of victory in the Iran war and the order to blockade the Strait of Hormuz have drawn criticism, leading to a situation where a former CIA director has proposed invoking the 25th Amendment for his removal. Pope Leo XIV stated that prayers for peace serve as a bulwark against the delusion of omnipotence regarding the US-Israel-Iran war. He strongly urged leaders instigating conflict to stop. Come to the table for dialogue, and criticized the use of God's name and rhetoric of death. Chinese reporting specifically covered this statement as Pope criticizes the delusion of omnipotence fueling the US-Israel-Iran war, conveying the Pope's strong critical tone. Next, here are the key stories from the US. The US and Iran's high-level talks have broken down, with implications of a Strait of Hormuz blockade and potential military action escalating Middle East tensions. Domestically, immigration policies, ACA subsidies, data center regulations, and former President Trump's building painting proposal have been reported. High-level talks between the US and Iran, the highest since 1979, ended without agreement, despite the participation of US Vice President J.D. Vance. President Trump stated he would blockade passage through the Strait of Hormuz, raising concerns of further surges in crude oil and gas prices, and intensifying the Middle East situation. Under the Trump administration, Stephen Miller led an initiative that resulted in the deportation of over 675,000 undocumented immigrants. Plans are underway to finalize agreements with third countries for repatriation to achieve a target of 1 million deportations annually. In Maine, Representative Melanie Sachs has proposed a bill for a temporary moratorium on new large-scale data centers. It has been revealed that 2 data center projects are already in progress, highlighting a lack of local permitting systems. Furthermore, some recipients of Affordable Care Act (ACA) subsidies may be required to repay the government upon filing their taxes, potentially facing unexpected financial burdens. Next, here are the key stories from Europe. Negotiations for the strike by resident doctors in the UK are facing difficulties, and while the Hungarian parliamentary election is drawing attention, the Pope's call for peace represents a significant development. In the UK, a 6-day strike by resident doctors is scheduled to end at 6:59 on Monday, but salary negotiations between the government and the British Medical Association (BMA) remain difficult. While the Health Secretary denies any change to the proposed agreement, the BMA claims the 3-year contract proposal with reduced investment was presented only just before the deadline. In Hungary, voting concluded on April 12 for a parliamentary election where incumbent Prime Minister Viktor Orbán faces a challenge from former ally Peter Magyar. Orbán is seeking his 6th term, and voter turnout reached a record high. At St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, Pope Leo XIV, during evening prayers, declared, "Stop. It is time for peace," strongly urging world leaders to come to the table for dialogue and mediation rather than pursuing rearmament plans. Next, here are the key stories from the Middle East. Iran's nuclear development and US-Iran negotiations have collapsed, increasing tensions in the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, clashes continue in Lebanon, contrary to expectations of a ceasefire. Saudi Arabia has demonstrated rapid recovery of its oil facilities, and Kuwait has arrested 24 individuals in connection with terrorist financing, indicating a complex situation continues in the Middle East region. The US and Iran failed to reach a peace agreement in 21 hours of direct negotiations in Pakistan. US Vice President J.D. Vance stated that Iran did not accept US conditions. However, Haaretz reported that despite attacks by the US and Israel, Iran maintains key components necessary for nuclear bomb production, including 60% enriched uranium and underground centrifuges. Following the breakdown of US-Iran negotiations, US President Trump announced a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. In response, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, warned that civilian vessel passage would be permitted, but military vessels would be dealt with strictly. The US announced that 2 naval vessels had transited the strait for mine clearance, but Iran denied this. Despite the announcement of a ceasefire between the US and Iran, Israeli airstrikes continued in southern Lebanon, resulting in the deaths of over 350 people, including the family of a 7-year-old girl, Aline Said. This has led to widespread despair in the region that the ceasefire does not apply to Lebanon. Next, here are the key stories from Russia. President Putin has offered mediation for peace talks in the Middle East with Iran, while mutual accusations of Easter ceasefire violations with Ukraine persist. Domestically, the new government's personnel appointments and economic reforms are progressing, with the ruble showing a firm trend. Russian President Putin expressed his readiness to assist in mediating peace efforts in the Middle East during a call with Iranian President Pezeshkian. Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of thousands of ceasefire violations for the Orthodox Easter. The Ukrainian military reported 2,299 ceasefire violations by 7 a.m. on April 12. In Russia, the appointment of ministers for the new government is underway, and major media outlets are preparing guides for the new cabinet members. Next, here are the key stories from China. Hong Kong has signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen digital economy cooperation with mainland China, while diverse domestic developments, including issues of an aging population, ministerial travel expenses, fire incidents, and charitable activities, have been observed. Hong Kong has signed a groundbreaking memorandum of understanding, MOU, with mainland China to promote the digital economy, including AI advancement, cross-border data flow, and blockchain technology. The signing was attended by Hong Kong's Chief Executive John Lee and the Director of China's Cyberspace Administration, CAC, Zhuang Rongwen. Hong Kong faces the pressing issue of a declining birth rate, among the world's lowest, making the response to its aging population a critical challenge. In connection with this, discussions surrounding end-of-life and funeral planning are becoming more open within society. Over the past 3 fiscal years, 21 Hong Kong ministerial-level officials spent a total of over 46.6 million Hong Kong dollars, approximately $5.9 million US, on overseas travel. Paul Chan, the financial secretary, accounted for about a quarter of this amount, while Algernon Yao, the secretary for Commerce and Economic Development, made the most trips, with 50. Next, here are the key stories from Japan. SoftBank has established a new company for domestic AI development, and the Liberal Democratic Party has announced a new vision to confront populist politics. Meanwhile, specific movements in the economic and policy spheres were observed, such as the halt in accepting foreign workers with specific skills in the restaurant industry. SoftBank, in collaboration with NEC, Honda, and 7 other companies, has established a new domestic AI development company named Japan AI Foundation Model Development, aiming to build an AI model with approximately 1 trillion parameters, the largest in Japan. The Liberal Democratic Party officially announced its new vision at its party convention, coinciding with its 70th anniversary, explicitly stating its intent to confront populist politics. Bolstered by Prime Minister Takaichi's high approval ratings, the party has signaled its commitment to carrying out sustainable social security reforms. The government announced that new applications for foreign workers with specific skills in the restaurant industry will be suspended from the 13th, as the number of resident workers is approaching the upper limit of 50,000. Next, here are the key stories from Asia-Oceania. Peace negotiations between the US and Iran and Pakistan have collapsed, reportedly due to Iran's refusal to halt its nuclear weapons development. Consequently, the US has ordered a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, escalating regional tensions. A 21-hour US-Iran peace negotiation held in Islamabad, Pakistan, concluded without an agreement because Iran did not accept the US condition of halting its nuclear weapons development, as announced by US Vice President J.D. Vance on April 11. The Iranian side claims that the primary reasons for the negotiations' failure were the US's inability to gain Iran's trust and its unreasonable demands. Following the negotiation breakdown, U.S. President Donald Trump ordered the U.S. Navy on April 12 to blockade the Strait of Hormuz. In response, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps warned that it maintains complete control over the strategic strait and hinted at retaliatory measures. Next, here are the key stories from South America. Argentina's government secretary Manuel Adorni has been formally indicted on charges of illicit enrichment, with a detailed investigation into his assets underway. Argentine government secretary Manuel Adorni has been formally indicted on suspicion of illicit enrichment, with his declared assets reportedly increasing by 500% in one fiscal period. Federal Judge Ariel Lijo, at the request of the prosecutor's office, ordered the disclosure of banking and tax information for Adorni and his wife, Bettina Angelari. The scandal includes Angelari's travel to New York on the presidential plane despite not holding public office, and the ownership of an undeclared apartment of nearly 200 square meters in Buenos Aires. That concludes today's Global News Report. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.